Hello and welcome to This Date in History, aka TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred today in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things I personally find intriguing enough for me to bring to you. The source of this information comes from the smart device application on this day. The music in the background is Adventure by JJD, which I found on the YouTube channel No Copyright Sounds, aka NCS. For links to the app, music, and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar. Now let's get on with the show, shall we? Today is Moon's Day, aka Monday, September 12, 2016. In 2015, a series of explosions involving propane triggered nearby illegally stored mining detonators in the Indian town of Petlawad in the state of Madhya Pradesh, which caused the deaths of at least 105 people and the injury of over 150 others. In 2011, the 9/11 Memorial Museum in New York City opened to the public. In 2003, during the Iraq War, U.S. forces mistakenly shot and murdered 8 Iraqi police officers in Fallujah. Also in 2003, the United Nations lifted sanctions against Libya after the country agreed to accept responsibility and recompense the families of the victims of the 1988 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. In 2001, Ansett Australia, Australia's first commercial interstate airline, collapsed due to increased strain on the international airline industry, leaving 10,000 people unemployed. In 1999, Indonesia announced it would allow international peacekeepers into East Timor. In 1994, Frank Eugene Corridor crashed a single-engine Cessna 150 onto the White House's South Lawn, striking the West Wing, which caused his death. In 1992, the 50th NASA Space Shuttle mission occurred when the Endeavour was launched for mission STS-47. Crewing the ship was Mae Carl Jemison, the first black woman in space, Mamoru Mohiri, the first Japanese citizen to fly in a U.S. spaceship, and the first married couple in space, Mark Lee and Jan Davis. In 1990, the 2 German states and the 4 powers signed the treaty on the final settlement with respect to Germany in Moscow, paving the way for German reunification. In 1988, Hurricane Gilbert devastated Jamaica. 2 days later, it turned towards Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, when caused an estimated $5 billion in damages. In 1983, the USSR vetoed a United Nations Security Council resolution that deplored the Soviet destruction of Korean Airlines Flight 007. Also in 1983, a Wells Fargo depot in West Hartford, Connecticut, United States, was robbed of approximately $7 billion by Los Mancheritos. In 1977, South African anti-apartheid activist Steve Biko died in police custody. In 1974, Juventude Africana Amilcar Cabral, the youth wing of the African Party for the Independence of Guinea and Cape Verde, aka PAIGC, was founded in Guinea-Bissau. Also in 1974, Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, the quote-unquote messiah of the Rastafari movement, was deposed following a military coup by the Derg, thus ending a 58-year-long reign. In 1970, during the Dawson's Field hijackings, Palestinian terrorists exploded 3 hijacked airlines in Jordan and continued to hold the passengers hostage in various undisclosed locations in Amman. In 1964, Canyonlands National Park was designated as a national park. In 1962, President John F. Kennedy, during a speech at Rice University, reaffirmed that the U.S. would put a man on the moon by the end of the decade. In 1961, the African and Malagasy Union was founded. In 1959, Bonanza, the first regularly scheduled TV program presented in color, premiered. In 1958, Jack Kilby demonstrated the first integrated circuit. In 1943, during World War II, Benito Mussolini, the former dictator of Italy, was rescued from house arrest on the Gran Sasso and Abruzzi by German commando forces led by Otto Scaronzi. In 1942, during World War II, RMS Laconia, carrying civilians, Allied soldiers, and Italian prisoners of war, was torpedoed off the coast of West Africa and sunk, which caused a heavy loss of life. In 1940, an explosion at the Hercules Powder Company plant in Kenville, New Jersey, caused the deaths of 51 people and the injury of over 200 others. Also in 1940, cave paintings were discovered in La Seux, France. In 1938, Adolf Hitler demanded autonomy and self-determination for the Germans of the Sutherland region of Czechoslovakia. In 1933, Leo Szilard, while waiting for a red light on Southampton Row in Bloomsbury, conceived the idea of a nuclear chain reaction. In 1923, southern Rhodesia, known as Zimbabwe today, was annexed by the United Kingdom. In the year 1919, Adolf Hitler joined the German Workers' Party, which later became the Nazi Party. In 1890, Salisbury, Rhodesia was founded. In 1857, the SS Central America sunk about 160 miles east of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, causing the drowning and obvious deaths of 426 passengers and crew, including her captain William Lewis Herndon, as well as the loss of 13 to 15 tons of gold from the California Gold Rush. In 1848, Switzerland became a federal state. In 1814, during the War of 1812, the Battle of North Point occurred, resulting with a U.S. detachment halting the British land advance to Baltimore. In 1609, Henry Hudson began his exploration of the Hudson River while aboard the Howe of Maine. In 1309, the First Siege of Gibraltar took place in the context of the Spanish Reconquista, pitting the forces of the Kingdom of Castile against the Emirate of Granada, which resulted in a Castilian victory. In 372, 10-year-old Jin Xiaowudi succeeded his father Jin Jianwendi as emperor of the Eastern Jin dynasty. In 490 BC, this is the conventionally accepted date for the Battle of Marathon, in which the Athenians and their Plataean allies defeated the first Persian invasion force of Greece. Births: Yao Ming, 1980, Louis C.K., 1967, Barry White, 1944. Deaths: Johnny Cash, 2003. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links you may be interested in. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, especially if you're playing Pokemon Go. You can also rate 5 thumbs and subscribe if you do so wish. For your dose of passive events daily, I am Aeoxander, and you are you. Toodles! In 1938, Adolf Hitler demanded autonomy and self-determination for the Germans of the Sunderland region in Czechoslovakia.